Hello and thanks for joining us here at Tech24. I'm Annelise Borges. Coming up, tech giants invest millions in old and new media. After the recent purchase of the Washington Post by Amazon's Jeff Bezos, we'll look into the $250 million news service being launched by eBay's founder, Pierre Omidyar. Could this be the reinvention of journalism? And in Test 24, we check out a new connected thermostat for the home, which, designed by superstar Philippe Stark, is not only smart, but beautiful. After Amazon's Jeff Bezos purchased the Washington Post, now it's eBay's founder's turn. Pierre Omidyar has plans to invest $250 million in a general interest news site. Credibility, influence. What exactly are tech giants looking for when they invest in media companies? Julien Savaget and Will Hildebrand have the story.
What motivated you to
eBay founder Pierre Omidyar is bidding to reboot journalism. The internet billionaire pledged $250 million to a new media venture, committed to independent and investigative journalism amid his rising concern about press freedoms in the United States and around the world. The online project is unnamed, but already has an important face, Glenn Greenwald, a journalist who broke a series of stories for Britain's Guardian newspaper on U.S. intelligence spying on world leaders, based on documents leaked by former security contractor Edward Snowden. Earlier this year, Omidyar had explored buying the Washington Post, which was ultimately acquired by another tech giant, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. Some of the writers at the Post were suspicious of the mogul's motives, but were eventually won over.
The instinctive role of the Washington Post in the federal capital was to be a counterpower.
In France, journalism seems to be à la mode as well. Along with two other investors, the founder of internet provider Free, Xavier Niel, bought a controlling stake in Le Monde newspaper in 2010. The flagship paper is in stark contrast to the internet sex chats Niel created to start his fortune years ago. Today, he's influential, a tech giant, and worth more than €6 billion.
Financially, they're solid. Of course, each of the three investors has the means to ensure the development of the group, which was lacking the past 10 years. We've had ideas, but we haven't had the means to implement them. And this is also very important. They knew to bring in a group, a team that could guarantee our editorial independence.
There's a common thread among these techies jumping to journalism. They made their acquisitions with their own money, leaving no ties to their principal businesses. But even more important, they each believe the internet has an inherent value with limitless possibilities.
And Marc is with me in the studio. Marc, can you tell us a little bit more about this trend? Who else is investing in the media?
Well, besides the two tech giants that we just saw in the report we just had, we've also got Lauren Powell Jobs, widow of Steve Jobs, who's invested some money in a newspaper, in a sort of media communication startup called Ozy. We've also got Chris Hughes, co-founder of Facebook, and now he's purchased a newspaper, The New Republic. And Jeff Skoll, who is also sort of eBay alumni, much like Pierre Omidyar, and he's backing Participant Media as well as a new TV channel called Pilot. So the tech giants really coming over the hill and really helping out an industry which is in need of a good investment and injection of money, that's for sure.
And enthusiasm as well. In an interview with the New York Times last week, Pierre Omidyar said that the objective of this news project is, I quote, to do a better job bringing important stories that tend to be overlooked to a broader audience and use technology to figure out how to do that. Basically, he said it isn't enough to just throw important news in people's faces. It's necessary to understand how people engage with that kind of service. Are we about to witness a revolution in journalism powered by technologists?
I mean, short answer, yes. You know, you look at these guys. I mean, the fact is they're all long-term strategists. They don't just go in for the quick buck. You know, you look at Amazon, you look at eBay. These guys have long-term strategies. On top of that, they're not just bringing us cash. what they're actually doing is bringing a huge amount of intellectual property and a huge amount of technological savviness and know-how. I mean, these guys know exactly what the trends are. They analyse. They're experts within the trends. And on top of that, they're joining it at a time when, you know, journalism really is in need of an injection. There's a lot of cost-cutting. There's advertising revenues are diminishing. The margins are getting smaller. And really, these guys are coming to save. And it's a ripe environment. You know, it's easy and it's cheap to do platforms, to create platforms, to do collaborative work, and to spread media via Twitter, Facebook. It's all instantaneous. So you can see the appeal as well for those guys. Huge boost, huge boost.
All right, thanks for that, Mark. Shall we move on? Let's move on now. It's time for Test 24. A cool weather station for the home. French company Netatmo just introduced its equivalent of Nest for Europe. The thermostat was designed by Philippe Starck and is a beautiful piece of hardware. But as Marc discovered, it is more than just a pretty face, right, Marc?
Well, it certainly is a pretty face. You know, you put a guy like Philippe Starck behind the design, and you can see just how dainty, how beautiful, and how aesthetically pleasing it is. Now, on top of that, using the Netatmo app is very, very simple. Wirelessly connected, you just need to connect the two together, and then from the comfort of your office or being away from your home, you can control the temperature in your house. Now, in these difficult financial times and the climate that we're in, to excuse the pun, you can save up to 25% on your heating bill, which is an incredible amount of money when you take that over a year.
Can you show us how the app works?
So really, you could teach a monkey to use this app. It's so simple.
Okay.
You very simply, so remotely sat at your office, you can just change the temperature directly here. If you want to change it straight away, you can also do a planner, and you can see here, you know, across what savings you've got at this very moment. You can be away from home and do a sort of 1 week planning and change the temperature at different times. Now, as we said, it's a French company which is going head-to-head with the big Americans, and out on the 10th of November. Not available, won't be available in Europe until 2014. Although right now, once it's out here in France, it will reach 15 million homes, including gas. Anyone who has a gas or fuel or wood-burning heating system, not electric, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a good system.
It can already be pre-ordered online, and it's priced at 179 euros. How did you rate?
Well, you're not going to be surprised to know that the design, we gave it a very high mark, 8 out of 10. Simple to use, and I think it's quite good value for money, although many of these systems are actually already in place. Certainly in the UK, you kind of do your own programming already. You can't do it remotely, but I guess once you've programmed it once, that's the big difference. It does do one thing. You can program remotely and be away from your home and change the temperature. Now, whether people are willing to spend 179 euros to do that, I think it was more to do with the 25% saving, really.
All right, thanks for that, Marc. That's all we have time for. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Tech 24. You can get in touch with us via our social pages on Facebook or on Twitter. Our hashtag is Tech24. And we leave you today with a bright idea. Yukon in Norway was accustomed to spending most of winter in the dark due to the high mountains that surround the city. But that is all about to change thanks to the world's largest solar mirrors, which will reflect some sunlight into the town's main square from September through March. Artist Martin Anderson drew up the plans and got 670,000 euros to make the idea a reality. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.